Hey everyone, welcome to Free Handly Made AU, my autistic life. My name is Nisi, and this is my little spot in the mountains. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to my house. All right, so I got some happy mail from our sweet Tank. I won a giveaway that she did, and here it is. Here it is. Picked it up this morning. Yep. So let's see what's in here, shall we? Let's see. What's in here? It's squishy. But you guys can guess what's in here. Squishy, squishy, squishy. All right, let's see. Opening it up. What did Tank send me? What did she send me? I always get nervous cutting up these envelopes. Ooh. It's pretty. It's a pretty color. What is it? Let's see. Violet. Oh, I can't even pronounce that, Tank. It's in a different language. It's foreign yarn. It definitely is 100% acrylic. 200 meters. And made in Turkey. Let's see. Does it give us the weight? Let's see. Feels like it looks like a 4-weight. Worsted. Yeah, it's a worsted weight. It says to use a 5mm hook. Look at that pretty. Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty color. And thanks to my light, that is the true color. It's like a minty sage. Actually, it's more like a sage. Like a sage color, maybe? Very pretty. And I have 3 of those, which means I could definitely make a cowl out of this. So, yeah, that's what this is going to be, Tank. It's going to be a cowl. See, brings out the color of my face. It'll be a cowl for somebody. For me or somebody. It says, Nisi, congrats on being a winner in Spring's Channel Thursday, February 16th. Love and hugs, Tank. Thank you, Tank. Thank you for blessing us with yarn. Man, I got yarn from Sunita and I got yarn from Tank this month. February's been good to me. Well, you guys, that's all I have for you. That's it. Just this quick little happy mail. I'm still working on the blanket. I have about 14 more inches to go. And let's see, some news. Obviously, I'm doing this video in the morning time, which means I'm not at work. I had to resign due to medical reasons, and you guys knew I was struggling because I had discussed about that. The fur babies went crazy. Anyway, so like I was saying, you guys knew I was struggling with the job that I was doing at the school, and I lasted 6 months. I was really trying hard to get through the rest of the school year, but it just wasn't going to work out, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. My anxiety was so bad. And then having to come home and having to still take care of our son. Our son is a handful, y'all. He is. He's a boy. Plus he's autistic and he's severe ADHD. He's a handful. And so the type of job I had as a parent, it was so stressful because I wasn't just with the students that were assigned to me, but I was basically a big babysitter for the teacher in the classroom. No offense, but high schoolers should know how to behave in a classroom. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to say that it wasn't for me. And having 2 artificial hips, I don't have any business trying to break up any kind of arguments. And I don't, there are just certain things I don't need to put myself in the middle of. And it's not that the school's bad. That, I mean, every school has issues. Every public school has issues. I mean, just look on the news. But I just couldn't handle it. It was just too much. It was too much on me, mentally, emotionally, and physically. It was just too much. So um, I had to resign based on medical conditions. And now I can go back if I want. The door is open for me, but I can tell you I'm not. It's just not. It's just not the right position for me. And not only that, but because I was having so much pain and I was in so much chronic pain, I mean, you can't, there's only so much ibuprofen you can take in a day. And I had a hard time concentrating on doing my job. And I have to be able to instruct and tutor. And if I can't concentrate, it's hard to tutor when you can't concentrate. So it just made it really complicated. And then um, the job was a very gray area for me anyway, because I'm a parent with a child in that school, but I'm also an employee. And I had a hard time navigating both of those because some of the things I wanted to say, I can't say because I work there. And you got to be a little more sensitive when you're giving your opinion to your boss's boss. So, and then having to navigate when to talk to the teacher, when not to talk to the teacher, when to email, when not to email, when to message. It was just too much for me. Autistically, it was too much for me. I don't work in gray areas well. And I couldn't figure out, okay, where's the boundaries? Where am I allowed to be a parent while I'm at work and when I'm not allowed to be a parent at work? And it was just it made my head hurt. And I left. I felt very frustrated a lot of the times, and I felt kind of trapped as a parent in a way because I couldn't speak. I didn't feel like I could speak my mind about certain things. And when you have a child that has some behavioral issues, as well as sensory issues and learning disabilities, and he's socially developmentally behind. So like in some areas, my son is advanced for his age, but socially and emotionally, he's 10, but his mind in a lot of ways is more like, well, if you look up research, it will tell you an autistic child that's like a level 2 on the spectrum, like my son, he's about 2 to 3 years behind his actual age in some areas. So, like, he's 10, but in some areas, he acts more like a 7, 8 year old, which makes sense because my son still loves to watch Bluey on TV, and he still has toys on his birthday list that are more like for preschoolers and little kids, like the Bluey toys and the PJ Mask toys and play sets and stuff like that. Where most 10-year-olds, they're into like, I mean, he is into like the major Lego stuff, like the more advanced stuff too, but you know what I mean? Like they're into other things. They're not into to toys as much. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, so um, coming home after being stressed out all day dealing with behavioral issues from students, and then having to come home and deal with whatever my son did in school or didn't do in school that day, and then also dealing with his what we call it a download, where he comes home and he basically crashes because he's been expected to perform all day long, and then him having to do anything more is very difficult to get him to do because he's exhausted, right? So it was just too stressful. It was stressful on my husband. It was stressful on my son because I didn't have the patience that I normally have because my patience was all used up at work, and I come home and I have no more patience left because I've dealt with difficult students all day long. It just wasn't a good fit for me. Some people can handle it like a champ and do well. I'm not one of those people apparently. So you'll see me around the YouTube streets more. Still Still probably not as much as you were seeing me because I'm able to get up and move around now. So I'll be doing, chores around the house. So I may be lurking a lot, listening and watching while I'm doing chores around the house. But you will see me more often during the day now. Outside that, you guys, that's it. That's all I have for you. I'm gonna get off of here because I've talked way too long. It was just a little happy mail and a little announcement. So I want to tell you guys, thank you for your prayers and your positive thoughts um, and your positive vibes that you guys have been sending my way as we've been trying to navigate me being in the school and trying to decide if I was going to last a year or if I was going to go ahead and resign. Um, I definitely felt all of your prayers and all of your love during this whole process. Um, and my husband and I would like to ask you guys to keep that coming for our son because change is hard for him. And this is going to be his first week without mama being in the building. And he has a little anxiety about that. So if you would just, for the next 2 weeks, just keep our little man in your prayers that he's able to adjust okay. And also that his behavior improves in school. He's dealing with some difficult dynamics in the classroom with 2 other students, and we're trying to navigate that with the principal right now. And it's a very sensitive situation, which is another reason why I needed to. Because if I have to, if the mama bear has to come out, I have to be able to let her out in that situation. And so, yeah. And we're also seriously thinking about homeschooling our son. This is something I'm going to seriously think about starting now and through the summer. I have to try and see what I'm going to do before he hits 6th grade. Um, so we're thinking about pulling him out and doing that. So that we have a lot of things going on, a lot of major decisions we have to make. So y'all just keep us in your thoughts, okay? I really appreciate it. And for those of you that are prayer warriors out there, continue to pray over us and these decisions, you guys, because it's a hard decision. I have to decide, okay, is this something I could commit to? I need to be able to find a good curriculum that we can afford because they're expensive. Homeschooling is not cheap in some areas, so I got to do it in a way where we can afford it. And I already know a homeschool co-op through our church that I can get him involved in so he can get some social time with some other kids. So that area I'm not worried about. It's the making sure that he's learning appropriately. So when it comes to the end of high school and he takes that exam, he passes and he gets his homeschool high school diploma, which is a little bit different than a regular high school diploma. It's like it's not a GED, it's a little bit different than a GED, but at the end of the day, employers don't care. They don't care if you have a high school diploma or a GED as long as you have one or the other, to be honest with you. So I just want him to have a GED or a high school diploma. I don't care which. I just want him to be educated. You know what I mean? I just want him to be educated and be able to read and write and use math and be able to hold down a job. And I don't care what job he has. So anyway, yes, I've babbled on long enough. So we're going to end this video. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys again soon. Always remember, dare to be you, dare to be different. Love from Montana. Kisses. Bye, everyone.